Welcome. We will begin our opening statement with Ana Caballero. You will have 30 seconds.
Good evening, everyone. I'm a fighter for rural California. I had a business here in San Benito County for 25 years, and I know many of you. I've been a council member, a mayor, an assembly member, and a cabinet member for Governor Jerry Brown. I'm hardworking, honest, trustworthy, practical. I have a lot of energy, and I listen and I get things done. Thank you for coming here tonight.
Thank you. Way to go on the time there. Okay, Mr. Poitras, would you please start your opening statement?
Very good. Good evening, everybody. I'm Rob Poitras, and I'm a farmer. I'm a small business owner. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a grandfather. I've been a city councilman, a mayor. I'm currently a county supervisor, and I understand what the issues are on the ground floor, in the trenches, and that's why I'm running for the state senate to reform the issues that cause so many problems for us, and so that we can have better lives in California, especially State Senate District 12.
Thank you. Mr. Poitras, we're going to begin with you on our first question. According to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, California has the most rent-burdened households and the biggest shortage of affordable rental homes. What are your ideas to change this trend?
Thank you. Well, first of all, local control is imperative in terms of decision-making. The state should not tell a community how to grow. That's the job of the local city councils, the LAFCO, the Board of Supervisors. So the role of the state in this situation would be to essentially get out of the way and reduce costs. And how we do that, number one, is to reform CEQA. We have so many developments, we have environmental issues we have to deal with, and they're costly and they take a long, long time. The second thing is we need to roll back recent regulations that have been imposed on us from the state of California, such as sprinklers in homes and solar panels. These things are adding costs onto every single home that are built, whether you want it or not, whether you need it or not. Third of all would be state-imposed fees, other impact costs that are charged by the state of California for every single development and all the houses that are built. And then finally, we need to roll back regulations that make the cost of construction so expensive. When you build a house, you've got roofing materials, electrical materials, lumber, and so forth, and all those things cost exponentially more here in California because of the regulations and trucking costs and transportation costs that businesses have to endure to deliver to the construction site. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe we can give one great big applause when they get up to leave. How's that sound? Okay, Assemblywoman Caballero, would you like the question, or are you okay with it? Okay, thank you.
So I spent 15 years on the Salinas City Council, both as a council member and a mayor. And during that time, we took a number of actions. It is local control. It's local communities that decide what their community is going to look like, how they're going to use their land, and what kind of residences and businesses they're going to build. While I was on the city council, we built almost 2,000 affordable housing units. And what we did is we developed a first-time homebuyer program where we put our general fund money into it, the program, to help people buy their first home. We also took our redevelopment money as part of our redevelopment agency and overfunded the affordable housing set-aside program so that we had money for affordable housing. We also prioritized self-help projects so families could help build their own homes, which meant that they could buy down the cost of the home, made it much more affordable. We also passed an inclusionary housing ordinance. So every new home that got built, there had to be a certain percentage that were affordable to the community, to our own people that live in the city. So that becomes very, very important, is really prioritizing affordable housing in your community, and we did that. We also I have also understood that CEQA gets to be a challenge. It drives up the cost, and litigation costs in particular. And so I authored 2 CEQA exemption bills this last cycle in regards to infill projects, which are these vacant lots that you want to be able to build housing in. And I also did a bill for a mitigation fee cap to cap the mitigation fees.
Thank you. This question is for Assemblywoman Caballero. Agriculture provides many benefits to California, but is often saddled with onerous legislative rulings that make it difficult to remain competitive. What laws or regulations would you change to help relieve this?
So this legislative cycle, I was the chair of the Assembly Committee on Agriculture, and so I had the opportunity to hold hearings all over the state on exactly this question. What I heard from the agricultural community is that many times the regulatory oversight of some of the departments, such as the Air Board and the Water Board, end up creating conflicts, where if you do what one wants you to do, you may end up in conflict with the other. So I authored a bill to create an Agricultural Sustainability Council, which is a council that would create a safe harbor for those businesses that have a conflict and want to take them to this council, and to get a change in the regulatory oversight. What it would do is protect farmers, so they didn't have to hire attorneys, didn't have to fight a potential fine, and it creates certainty for the business. And I was very proud to be able to say that I got that through the legislature. The governor vetoed it this year, but I expect that there will be a different governor next year, and that has it's an issue that I think is still very viable. It's an opportunity to take conflicts in regulatory oversight somewhere where you can get it cleared up before it creates any problems. That's the kind of solutions that I like to support, which is to create opportunities to fix things.
Thank you. Mr. Poitras, would you like the question again, or are you okay with it?
I'm okay with it, thank you.
Thank you.
The number one thing that we could do to help agriculture would be to reform the labor laws. When I'm out talking to growers, whether it's in the San Joaquin Valley, here in San Benito County, or in the Salinas Valley, there's one thing that people talk about, that growers talk about, that could potentially drive them out of business, and that is the lack of labor. And what happened recently in the last few years was that there was an ag overtime law passed that increased the cost exponentially for growers to pay their ag workers. And so what's happened now is, because of that, in order to stay in business, the hours have to be cut back to 40 hours a week for ag workers. And not only is it hurting the grower, but it's hurting the farm worker even more. Farm workers want those hours. They desire those hours. They plead for those hours. They say, this is the way that we can feed our families. This is the way we can get ahead. This is the way that we can send our children to college and to work hard. But because of these onerous the overtime laws, that can't happen. And it's reducing the number of employees we have. And and it's another example of our great state. We're the only state that has ag overtime laws. No other state has it.
Thank you. We will now proceed to our closing statement. Mr. Poitras, you will begin. You have 90 seconds.
Okay, very good. As mentioned earlier, I'm a grassroots kind of guy. I'm a ground floor. I'm in the trenches on the front lines. Currently, I'm a Madera County supervisor. I'm on many nonprofits. I'm a farmer, a small business owner, and I experience all the time the same issues that people here in this audience are facing. The regulations, the crumbling infrastructure, our state depends so much on water, and yet it seems like it's hell-bent on reducing supply, sending more and more to the oceans to cause our valleys, whether they're the inland or the coastal valleys, into a wasteland. And we need somebody in Sacramento who understands that, who understands our region, who was born and raised here, who has business interest and understanding and knows about how people can succeed in their DNA. Currently, the Democrats do not have a supermajority in the state Senate. This race determines whether they get that back or not, and more than likely, an ability to run the table. I'm here to be that person as elected that can bring back a measure of balance to Sacramento, and I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Assemblywoman Caballero. I think you were on. There you go.
Well, first of all, let me thank you all for attending. I believe it's good to judge a candidate based on what they've accomplished and what they said they were going to do a long time ago. I've helped fund over 2,000 affordable housing units. I started a nonprofit, Partners for Peace, to reduce gang violence, and we focused on early childhood education, after-school programs, literacy, vocational ed programs, parenting programs. And during the time that I was mayor of Salinas, and during the time that this program was in operation, we had the lowest crime rate in the city's history. I've coached soccer and baseball teams for children. My children are grown. I've passed bills that build parks, help build affordable housing, put money back into the pockets of working families, expand early childhood educational opportunities, protect our water resources. I brought $1 million to Hartnell Community College for the vocational ed programs for nursing and agricultural education. I was recognized as a Legislator of the Year by the Rural Counties Association, the League of Cities, and the California Forestry Association. Those are people who know of the work that I do and the passion that I have for representing rural California. The whole issue of a 2/3 majority is a red herring. The bottom line is Democrats are in control. You can pass bills in the Senate with 21 votes. Whether we have 2/3 or not is not germane to the whole issue. The bottom line is you want someone in there that is with the party that's making the decisions, that can advocate for rural California and can stand up for our values. Thank you.
Thank you.